Hello everybody and welcome to Sin City Living. My name is Jason. I'll be bringing you today's episode. As always, we want to thank all of our fans, our sponsors, our patrons. We appreciate all of your guys' support. Everyone that's bought us a cup of coffee, been greatly appreciated. We've had a rough couple of weeks here in the family, been out of work for a week and a half, coming up on 2 weeks thanks to our old friend COVID running through us. I don't want to take up a whole lot of time with the usual spiel, so all of you guys that are interested in what's going on with Sin City Living and what we plan on doing in the future with our live streams and upcoming events, please stick around to the end of the video or skip to the end of the video and watch. I will put most of that stuff in the ending spiel, and I will try and update it every week or two with more news. Otherwise, that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. So for today's video, I want to go over the top 4 most common mistakes that we see for players when they are playing craps. Thank you everybody, by the way, for the coffee. It's been very appreciated this month with the whole family out for COVID. It's been going more towards bills and our kid's upcoming birthday next week rather than coffee itself. Unfortunately, no luxury items, but getting back to the coffees very soon. So what are the 4 most common mistakes that we see amongst dice players? Okay, well, now keep in mind this is not a be-all, end-all kind of list. This is just, like I said, the most common ones that we see as dealers. And if I were to go down through dealers and just ask common mistakes that we see, I would get a list of about 10 to 15. So I'm just kind of coalescing down to the again, 4 most common. So the number 1 mistake that we see a lot of is this right here. Let's say we're on a $10 minimum bet table, okay? We see a $10 pass line, and that's all we see. Actually, just saw this the other day. Had 3 players. We were on the table, and this is 2 days ago. We're on the table. We've got 3 players, and that was it. One of them would only bet when he was shooting, which is silly, but okay. We see that a lot. People that think they're, great dice shooters don't seem to understand the randomness of it, and will only bet when they are shooting. It's always unfortunate when we see that, and there's a 30-minute roll and the person's just standing there watching. I see that kind of stuff all the time. But pass line bet, and that's it. Pass line bet, no odds, no place bets, just the pass line bet. Now, it makes sense if you're what we call a case bet. You're down to your last few chips. Like, I get that. Okay, I actually saw somebody once do a comeback from just a $10 remaining out of their entire bankroll and end up coloring up almost $1,000 because they went on a nice little 35-minute roll. And of course, they used their money and actually bet and then pressed and stuff like that. But pass line bet, that's it. Just that. Going for the rolls. We see that often. Now, why is that a mistake? I mean, it's not a mistake as far as costing yourself money or anything along those lines. But if we see a pass line bet and that's it, just a pass line bet with nothing else, the question that goes through our minds is, why in the hell are you playing craps? Like, if that's it, that's all you're doing, just that. Keeping in mind that the average hand for craps is a few minutes. I mean, the time it takes to clean, and once there's 7 out, clean everything up, take everybody else's center action bets, C&Es, all that, move the dice, get a point. Hopefully it's the first roll, but could take 2 or 3 rolls. Get a point, mark the point, go through a few rolls, 7 out, unmark the point. You're looking at a few minutes per hand. A few minutes minimum for your $10 bet. If all they are doing is a $10 bet, and in our heads we're going, why isn't this player playing either blackjack or roulette? I mean, I know when I play, I don't want to spend 5 minutes getting to the result of my $10 bet. I play craps because I have bets on multiple numbers, so almost every roll of the dice I have some form of result going. But just sitting there staring at the table, I've seen someone just stare at the table for 10 minutes as the dice just get rolling and rolling and rolling, and people are making money, and they're just, point was like 10 or something, and everyone's making money, and they're just sitting there staring. It's a common mistake that we see. Number 2 most common, a second common mistake that we see is not knowing how the game works. Right? We get it. There's people that want to learn the game. You come in, you want to ask questions, and that's awesome. We're more than happy to ask questions as long as it's not too busy. If it's busy, we don't have time to answer the questions. It's fantastic. The best people that are trying to learn the game that haven't done any prior research on the game are the ones that just want us to tell them what to do. They don't want us to explain. I mean, we'll explain everything out, but it's very frustrating when we have a very busy game and we're getting peppered with questions. We'll answer the questions, and then the person just nods and does their $10 line bet, and that's it. It's like, why are you asking these questions if you're not going to actually play the game? You're making it very difficult for the dealers to do their jobs when you're peppering us with questions on a full table on a busy game, when everyone else is trying to bet and trying to play. So, but then we have those players that are like, what should I bet on? Well, do you want to bet other? Do you want to win as other numbers a roll? Yes. Okay, great. Drop me $24. I'm going to give you a 6 and 8 for 12 each. Boom. And now we can explain it as they're playing it, as they're getting paid. But knowing the fundamental, most basic stuff of the game, what is a pass line bet? How does it win? How does it lose? Stuff like that. That makes it a lot easier to learn the game and play the game. Another very, very, very common mistake: listening to the players over the dealers. Listening to the players over the dealers. You got those occasional players that think they are masters of craps, that they just utterly know everything about this game, when in reality they know next to nothing, or how they are playing is based off false assumptions. We hear stuff like that all the time. People are explaining things to the players, and in my head I'm going, did you ever go to a fourth grade math class? I mean, what you're saying makes absolutely no sense. Now, we're not going to start beating down another player, but it's very frustrating to us to sit there listening to somebody being told wrong, and oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, yeah, I'm going to do that, and not being able to help them, knowing that they're getting doomed for at least the next few weeks until they learn otherwise. The players that will ask the dealers the questions and let us explain it, they tend to have the most success, because we're not going to steer people wrong. We're going to, the odds are against you no matter what. But we are trying to help people understand and learn and play the game and have fun with the game, not learn these false assumptions, these fake myths and superstitions that have absolutely nothing to do with the actual probability of the game. We want to explain to people how to actually play. I mean, I saw somebody one time that pretty much all they do is center action bets. So basically they're idiots and should be playing roulette. And plus, they actually didn't even know what they were betting. They were betting the same things multiple different ways because they had no idea what their bets were. They were just betting to sound cool. And then they're trying to explain to this person next to them and basically teaching them to play the same way. And I'm looking at it like, man, you're dooming this person by teaching them wrong. Now, the final huge mistake that we see fairly often: table etiquette, not understanding table etiquette. Now, again, people are learning the game, and we have no problems explaining things to people, right? But things like getting their hands out of the way when the dice are going. Great, we get it. You're pointing, you're reaching, you're asking a question, whatever. We're like, hey, dice are out, watch your hands. Now, the third or fourth time we have to tell somebody, dice are out, watch your hands, keep an eye on the dice, don't have your hands on the table when the dice are out. By the third or fourth time, now it's starting to get annoying. The person is just not listening. Late betting, same thing. The third or fourth time we got to tell somebody, you got to get your hands out of the table when the dice are out, the shooter's throwing them, or you can't make these bets after the dice have moved. Third or fourth time we have to explain the most basic etiquette to people. It starts to get frustrating, not just for the dealers, but for the players. I have seen many times a table basically clear out because the rest of the table got utterly ticked off at one or two players that just would not understand or listen to basic table etiquette. So those are 4 of the most common mistakes that we see amongst craps players. Hope you guys find this interesting, illuminating, enlightening, or at least just plain fun. We will catch you guys next time. Bye now. Okay, everybody, and as promised, all the usual blah blah that I try and do at the beginning of the video, we're going to go ahead and put near the end of the video. And here we go. So thank you, everybody, for your usual patronage. All of you that are patrons of ours, we very much appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who's been buying us a cup of coffee. Love to say that it's going to coffee right now, but this month with the entire family out for COVID, it's honestly going to Bill's and probably the kid's birthday in a week. But we definitely appreciate it. We're going to continue working on these live streams. I know you guys have seen some of them popping up. Just
gotta figure out the look of it, and some of the audio was still giving me issues, but hopefully we'll be getting those live streams and the craps tournaments going as soon as possible. Really just going to depend on scheduling. My schedule changed, Amy's schedule changed, kids' school schedule is fun. So once we figure out exactly how all those schedules are going to work, we'll let everybody know. And otherwise, please continue emailing us with anything you would like to see videoed. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you guys. We'll catch you next time. Bye now.